This video is about psychological development in adolescence, the period between childhood and adulthood. My name is Jouni Vilkka and this is my channel, TFF Teacher from Finland. You want to subscribe and like this video. Not all cultures have the concept of adolescence, and in the past none did. In pre-industrial societies, children were considered adults when they reached physical maturity. There still are cultures like that. Modern societies instead include a phase of adolescence between childhood and adulthood, roughly the age between 12 and 18 years. This is practically synonymous with teenage, ages 13 through 19. Adolescence is usually seen as a transitional period where a child turns into an adult. So, instead of a quick rite of passage, as in many other cultures, becoming an adult now in modern societies takes several years. An important change marks this phase: puberty. It causes changes like the maturing of adrenal and sex glands, the development of sexual characteristics, both primary, changes in reproductive organs, and secondary, visible changes that signal sexual maturity, and a growth spurt. Puberty can cause embarrassment, but also pride. This significantly depends on whether one matures earlier or later than one's peers. Teens can be physically awkward, even just because of the growth spurt, because it will require learning to function in and with a larger body. Aggressive behavior among boys is related to high levels of testosterone. Reaching puberty earlier than average is connected to increase in depression, hostility, aggressive behavior, and hyperactivity. It can lead to the parents expecting too much of their child because the child seems physically more mature than they are cognitively and emotionally. Those who mature early also tend to seek older friends. That may lead to some problems, as I'm sure you can imagine. Negative effects of early puberty seem to appear pretty much only when the parents use parenting styles characterized by negativity and authoritarianism. Reaching puberty later than average is connected to an increase in negative emotions compared to averages. Parents can treat their child as less mature than they cognitively are, again because of appearances. Girls who mature late tend to look for younger friends. Boys tend to have feelings of inferiority, uncertainty, and they may worry about their own bodies. Risks related to puberty are higher for girls who reach puberty early and boys who reach it late. This even affects school achievements. In the brain, the frontal lobe is still developing rapidly at this stage. This makes possible more complex and even abstract thinking, probably due to faster processing speed. It enables improvement of self-regulation in adolescence compared to childhood. For example, executive function benefits from improved working memory and the ability to conceptualize and analyze. It is easier now to take initiative because planning is easier, as is the ability to follow through with the plans. This is made easier by improved self-control in the ability to more easily inhibit unwanted impulses. Metacognition, the ability to assess one's own thinking and knowledge and to direct one's own thinking, also improves compared to childhood. Compared to the self-image of children that is very concrete, based on physical attributes and such things, in adolescence it also becomes more abstract and more permanent. Their worldview also becomes more advanced. While they can understand other points of view better than before, complex situations are a bit too much to handle that way, and self-interest takes primacy. Of course, lots of people never actually get past this stage. It is also difficult for teenagers to grasp nuances as their thinking is still typically very binary, black and white. Emotion regulation is improved as adolescents learn how to amplify and diminish their emotions and to influence how they experience emotions. Most importantly, for social functioning, their ability to control how they express their feelings is improved. They can use their improved emotion regulation to also improve their motivation. Of course, all this learning requires practice, and for this the person needs other people, such as reliable friends or family members. It could be a good idea to treat arguments as opportunities to practice and help others also practice with you the needed skills in emotion regulation and constructive conflict resolution. Despite these improvements, it seems that the rapid developments in the frontal lobe may also be related to emotional outbursts and risk-taking behavior. It also seems that sensation seeking in general is increased in adolescence. You may still hear people blaming hormones for these behaviors, but according to the current view, it is not about the hormones. It's that the reward system that involves the dopamine system is still developing, and the frontal lobe that can inhibit the system is not yet able to do that well enough. This means that taking stupid risks may cause the reward system to get too active, which is felt as intense pleasure. This reward then teaches the young person to seek more such experiences in a very behavioristic manner. As the brain matures, the frontal lobe gains more control over the reward system, inhibiting it more and leading to more reasonable behavior. Before this can happen, it is possible that the person has already gotten addicted to substances and behaviors so that this maturing is unable to break their hold. At a young age, the brain is more vulnerable to the effects of drugs, alcohol, and tobacco. Also, while we are at this topic, the heavy use of energy drinks and coffee is likely to at least cause problems with sleep. Caffeine consumption may shorten the amount of deep sleep, which is the phase of sleep when long-term memories are formed. Lack of sleep weakens short-term memory and concentration, slows down cognitive abilities like perception and reasoning ability. Being tired has similar effects on the ability to drive as being drunk, and young people don't even have a lot of experience of traffic and controlling a vehicle, making the risks for them that much higher. Most fatal traffic accidents are caused by young drivers. The emotional problems of young people often lead to internalizing problem behavior, especially in girls, such as self-mutilation, eating disorders, depression, and suicide. Externalizing problems include aggressive behavior, damaging other people's property, and defying authority. This is more common with boys. Those who enjoyed a safe attachment and a balanced upbringing in childhood are most likely to be able to build mutually respecting relationships with others and to be able to resist peer pressure. They are likely to adapt well to society as considerate, kind people. Those who had an ambivalent or disorganized attachment as children are much more likely to go down a trajectory leading to problems that become reinforced with repetitions of bad choices unless an intervention manages to stop this process. A safe attachment helps a person be genuine and to trust others. This is also important for forming intimate relationships, which is another thing that typically begins in adolescence or early adulthood. There are other important social changes during adolescence. Because of the improved capabilities and hopefully also reliability, teens can be given more autonomy over their own affairs than previously. They can have summer jobs and choose how to use the money they earn, for example. They can spend more time independently of their parents, going on camping trips just with their friends. How they integrate into their peer groups at this stage is important because typically adolescents need to be accepted into groups. As a part of groups, they learn to cooperate, influence, and interact with others in general, even in more or less formal ways, if they participate in activities where this is possible. Most teens want not just to be part of some group, but to be liked by members of that group. The sociometric status, how much liked they are, has a lot of influence on their self-image and self-esteem. For example, not being liked can lead to being bullied. Those who are excluded from groups have fewer opportunities to practice social skills. They are also more likely to find antisocial company that may lead them down an unpleasant trajectory in life. Members of a friendship group typically have a lot in common with each other. To an extent, they are assimilated into the group, becoming similar to the other members. For a greater extent, they choose, when options are available, the kinds of people as friends that already are much like themselves. As the group hangs out together, there is also a socialization effect, as the members adjust themselves to the group. There may be unmentioned rules, for example. Adolescence is an especially important time for forming your own identity. This means breaking away from your parents, possibly going against their wishes, or even discarding the values they tried to instill in you, and becoming an independent person. Some, but only a small fraction, have serious conflicts with their parents. Unfortunately, while they may be breaking away from their parents, some youngsters get involved in gangs or other harmful influences, such as some popular influencers, or even just allow themselves to be influenced too much by their friends to really become independent. We are never just one thing. Our identity is made up of several parts. Our personal identity is an answer to "Who am I?" specifically. It is your idea of your characteristics, your main attributes and skills, significant experiences and achievements, and anything that makes you the unique individual that you are. We cannot escape this individuality, after all. Identity also includes our gender and sexuality, which may be a bigger deal if those are somehow against the social norms. Our social identity is made up of all the groups we are a member of and our status and role in them. And perhaps the hardest to notice is our cultural identity, because culture is the lens through which we see everything. It is in the language, manners and aesthetics and everything around us at all times. When a person is seeking their identity, they become more and more aware of all these things that form or could form their identity. They can look into different options more, especially now that they can access so much through the internet. They can try out different identities. The wealth of options may be one reason why people, in the West at least, are prolonging this phase of identity seeking. In earlier times, it wasn't really something to think of, because you couldn't really do much more than accept the cards you were dealt at birth, so to speak. There is far more freedom now. Some, fascists for example, of course don't like that, because despite what they may say, they don't like freedom, even for themselves. It seems that they prefer to be part of a hierarchy, with someone telling them what to do. It is truly unfortunate that a lot of young men these days seem to find this appealing. It will hurt even themselves a lot eventually. In Finland at least, most teen boys wish to get a job in a male-dominated field of work, while about half of teen girls also wish to get a job in one of those fields. This could be due to typically higher pay in those fields. Having opportunities is important for everyone, and one big problem in much of the world these days seems to be the loss of opportunities for the young. This can have a significant impact on the future of societies. Adolescents have usually been rather optimistic about their own futures, even if their vision of the future in general is more pessimistic. It is my understanding that the current young generation sees the future as more bleak than previous generations. And not without good reason. After adolescence comes adulthood, which is the topic of my next video. I hope you'll come back to watch that one too. Bye for now. If you wish to support my channel, please click thumbs up, subscribe and share my videos. Any comments on the videos would also be welcome.